Welcome to tonight's class. Tonight, we're going to be talking about free clothing allowance that we veterans can get. All right, does everybody see my screen?
Yeah.
Yay. Okay, awesome. So, uh, just a disclaimer that I am not a VSO. I am not an attorney or medical provider. This is just for educational purposes only. So, what is the VA clothing allowance? It's a yearly benefit that's tax-free up to this year it's $1,053.19 for one. And you're going to be able to get this allowance if you have a prosthetic, orthopedic appliance, if you're on certain medications like creams. So some very popular ones include knee braces, back braces, ankle braces. And so the minimum qualifications are that you have to have a service-connected disability that requires the prosthetic or orthopedic application or the prescribed medication. So the VA is basically giving it to you, and it falls under your service disability, and that you use this, and it causes wears, tears, or irreparable damage to your clothing. You use a physician prescribed medication for a service connected skin condition that causes basically stains. And the appliance or medication is medically necessary. So that's important, medically necessary. So just important thing, just wearing a brace prescribed or a prescribed medication does not automatically qualify you for a VA clothing allowance. And so this is why we have to go through the whole claim process. Also, when you do get approved for it, you only have to apply for it like that one time. They switched it up a couple of years. So if you apply for it, like let's say this year and you get approved, then you don't have to do it again next year. And you have to submit every year, August 1st. If you submit it August 2nd, it will go for the following year. So it's really important to ensure that you get that deadline of August 1st. So eligibility is going to depend upon individual circumstances. So depending on what brace you have or what medication or cream you have. So the creams, these are the ones that are like the creams, the ointments, or some type of skin medication. So it must be prescribed by the VA or through your service-connected skin condition. And it needs to cause some type of irreplaceable damage. So that's going to be like your staining, bleaching, or the damage to those clothing items. So make sure that you're like keeping your guys' records, VA or private treatment records, dermatology, photos of stained or damaged clothes, if at all possible, because this is going to help your claim in the long run. And like I said earlier, there's multiple uh, allowances available for this. So you can get up to four allowances of that over $1,000 that you're able to qualify for. The thing is that it has to damage different clothing. So if your knee brace damages your pants and your back brace damages your shirt, that could qualify you for two. So they don't automatically multiply. So you want to, again, let's say this year you have a knee brace, you qualify for that, you get approved for the knee brace. Let's say next year you're now in a back brace. You don't have to apply for the knee brace again, but you do have to apply for the back brace because it's a new condition. So here's something that's really, really important is that the qualifying clothing, it's not all clothing. It's going to be the covered clothing such as blouses, pants, shirts, shorts. So your hat, scarf, shoes, socks, underwear are not going to be covered. So when you're going to be talking about or taking photos of all of these different things, you have to be sure that you are concentrating on those particular items alone. So how does the VA even determine eligibility? So it is the device has to be prescribed for usually more than 1 year. It is qualifying, is it a qualifying prosthetic or orthopedic appliance? So they actually use certain codes and internal guidance to help determine whether they're going to be approved or not. So there is a pretty long list, but it's not automatic. So not every brace qualifies, not every medication qualifies. Does the appliance actually damage clothing? So the veteran should be able to explain or demonstrate how the device wears or tears their clothing. Velcro alone is generally not considered a qualifying damage. So be prepared if you're trying to, if you have like a knee brace that has only Velcro, be prepared to, uh, you know, discuss how that damages all of your certain clothing. Does the device have to have exposed rigid materials or joints? So these are going to be like the more the like the braces that have a little bit more like the metal. I don't want to say they're not metal, but they're very rigid, very hard pieces. So devices with exposed rigid components or joints are more likely to qualify. But I would say don't just assume that you do or you don't qualify. Definitely try and put in a very good claim, and the VA hopefully will be able to answer those. All right, so this is the form. There is your phone number or your name, your social, your address, your phone number. Very easy form to fill out, okay? Then you're going to check number 5. So this is I elect to terminate the benefit I no longer use for any device, orthopedic, or skin medication, which previously qualified me for this. So if you're going to check that when you no longer need the clothing allowance. Okay. You no longer need the clothing allowance. You want to stop the clothing allowance. Check number 5. Okay. Number 6, 7, and 8. This is going to be about your device. So number 6, what service-connected condition requires the application or medication? And then number 7, what is the device? So you're going to put in there, your brace, and we're going to look at some examples in a moment. And then you're going to look at what part of the body. So is it upper, left, right, lower, left, right? So you're going to check what those look like. At the end, you're going to sign in ink. This says in ink. And this is the VA form 10 TAC 8678. And if you see here, it says June 2026. So that's how you know you have the right form. So it says sign in ink. And then you're going to date it. All right, so let's take a quick examples. So number 6, we're going to look at these examples right here. If you see here, this box right here. Okay. Right, number 6, I have service-connected right knee osteoarthritis. The device that I have is a hinged knee brace. The part of the body is lower right. All right, and you can see here, left knee instability is what I am service-connected for. Even if it's 0%, you're going to be in a knee, I was in a knee brace, and that affects my lower left. All right. So you can see here, it just kind of goes in here. We could go to the left, or the bilateral plantar fasciitis, custom orthopedic brace, lower left and right. So you're going to hit both of those. Psoriasis. Now, you're going to want to put as much information about the medication. So it is, I hope I'm saying this correctly, clobetasol 0.05% ointment. And then you're going to put where you put that cream at, but it has to be where the area is affected. Okay. So if you're affected and only the VA records only show your trunk, which is like your upper part of your body. Okay. And you started to use it for your legs. You haven't told the doctor anything about it. It would be very, very difficult to get a clothing allowance approved for like your pants on your lower body because that's not actually been documented. So it's really important that you really let the doctors know because I know psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis that could spread. It's not usually just it can be located in just one place, but it can spread. So you just have to be very consistent with your doctor and letting them know what's going on. So that way, if you're trying to get these creams or medication for other parts, you're it's being documented. All right. And I will get you guys these slides as well. So that way you guys have them. So when we're submitting a claim, we have that form we just talked about. You must submit that. That's the application. Okay. Now let's help the VA understand what we're trying to tell them and why we deserve to have this clothing allowance. So any type of medical evidence is definitely going to be very helpful. I like to say, get your medical records where it says and highlight it, circle it there. So they're obviously seeing it. Oh, there it is. It's right here. I can see exactly the medication and the treatment records or whatever. And this is particularly true if you have private records. The VA generally will have the records, but again, sometimes it's easier just to print it out for you, like you just print it out and you're doing it yourself because that helps them not have to go search. Have the prescription medication available. Most of the stuff you can go into the VA and go to your medical documents and you could see a lot of this stuff. And so your orthopedic or prosthetic documentation as well. Whoops, where do I go? Backwards. I'm going back. And then submit a personal statement. Now, this is going to be on the VA form 21 TAC 4138. So that's your personal statement. If you're in my class, if you're my client, we talk a lot about 4138. So this is where you're going to write your story. You're now telling the VA your story or your how it's affecting you. Photographs would be great. Show, look, you see there's permanent stain on my clothes. Here's some permanent wear and tear. You can see here when I put the brace on my knee, you can see exactly where it's being torn right here. It's fraying. It has permanent stains, whatever that looks like. Be great if you have them, not always available. Sometimes we just throw those receipts out, but if you have receipts, good idea to start keeping them. Maybe you don't qualify right now, or maybe you're not going to be able to do it until next year. Here we go. These are some things to start thinking about. And then any additional evidence. So what you want to, the way you might be saying, Ash, that's a lot of stuff. Why do we have to put so many things in there? That's just silly to me. Think of it this way. Medical records show why you need the application of the medication. Your personal statement explain how it damages your clothes, and the photos provide a visual evidence. So the goal is to make it easy for the VA to understand what you use, why you use it, and how it causes the damage. Why do you deserve that extra yearly benefit, clothing benefit? So in your statement, include your service-connected condition, the appliance, how often you use it, the damage, and give us specific examples. And I'm going to give you a little cheat sheet here. If you answer these questions in your personal statement, you've hit everything that's needed. So you would write, what is your personal or your service-connected disability? You write that out. What application do you use because of that service-connected disability? That ties it in. How often do you use it? How does it damage your clothing? And can you provide specific examples of the damage? So again, be specific. Your favorite blue jeans that you have to buy 3 times a year because they constantly wear and tear. You want to give as good of examples as possible. Here is a personal statement sample. So I'll just read this, but again, anybody that's in the class, you are going to get this slide sent to you, so you don't have to worry about taking notes. So the very first part is I'm submitting the statement in support of my application for the VA annual clothing allowance. I am service connected for right knee osteoarthritis. Due to this condition, I have been prescribed and regularly wear a hinged knee brace to provide stability and support while walking, standing, and performing daily activities. I wear this brace every day for approximately 8 to 10 hours. The metal hinges and the Velcro straps repeatedly rub against the inside and outside of my pants during normal movement. Over time, this has caused excessive wear, fraying, and holes in several pairs of jeans and work pants. The damage is permanent and cannot be repaired. Because of this repeated wear, I have had to replace multiple pairs of pants that were damaged during my prescribed brace. To support my application, I have included photographs of the damaged clothing and my medical records documenting the prescribed use of the knee brace. So if you remember the questions I had asked, I don't know why it keeps going back to that page. What was your service connected? It was answered. What application? It was answered. How often do you use it? It was answered. How does it damage? It was answered. And can you give specific examples? It was answered. So if you answer these questions, you're gonna be good to go. And then after you get all of your stuff, you've got your application, you've got your photos, you have your personal statement, you're ready to go. Now you're going to organize it. Remember, organization is so important. There's people who are getting these applications and they have to go through a lot of stuff. And if yours is a hot mess, that's a lot of extra energy they have to use instead of looking at your stuff and just hopefully approving it. It's easier for them. Okay. So make sure you're organized. Create an online folder as well as having printed things out. If you are not a computer person, hey, no worries. That's okay. Have everything printed out. Make copies for yourself and keep it in a folder. This is for every claim that you do. Always have copies for yourself. Okay. Things happen. And then have a list of all the items that you're going to submit so that way you know, yes, I did this. Yes, this is submitted. I have it ready to go. And then we are going to apply. Now, this is different. If I have worked with you and I've helped you understand how to do quick submit or put an application onto the va.gov, this is different. Okay. So you're going to actually send this to your prosthetic and sensory aid service. This is usually your local facility, okay? So you can do this through your secure messaging app. You can go deliver it to them in person. You can fax it. You can mail it. So this would be your local VA medical center. So, you would find that address and send it to them, or you can send it to the VA Claims Intake Center. If I were you, and what we're going to be doing for my husband is we're going to go deliver it in person. And then we're going to have copies of everything ourselves. That I think is a really good option, or through the secure messaging. Those are my favorite too. That's what I would suggest. So we already kind of discussed that if you're already approved for VA allowance, clothing allowance, and your qualified appliance or medication is unchanged, you generally do not need to apply each year. Okay, so as long as it's unchanged. But as soon as you have a new qualified appliance or medication, that's when you're going to want to apply for that one. All right, so I'm going to open it up to any questions that you have.
I got no questions asked. You answered it like in the first slide. I had read it had to be service connected, but I was going to ask you to confirm it, but you confirmed it.
Yes.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. All right. Well, if you guys don't have any questions, I'm going to end this recording. It's been a pleasure seeing you guys. I hope you guys are all doing fantastic. And we will be back for another educational video sometime. I don't know. Submit your questions. What kind of questions do you guys have? What do you want to learn about? And we'll look at doing some more.